Hello everyone. So this is my car, and I will be teaching you today how to drive a manual transmission. This is a 2007 Ford Focus with a 5-speed manual transmission. Some lighter mods on it, but for the most part, still the fundamental 5-speed transmission. So the first thing you'll know is that weird thing right there, and that's called the stick shift. In order to understand a little bit better, you have first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. Other manual transmissions may have 6 gear. Sometimes they go all the way up to 7 or 12 depending on what vehicle you're talking about. But for this one, it is 5 gears. Main other thing that you'll need to know is that there are 3 pedals. You have these two you should know: gas, brake, and then this is a special one which makes the experience a lot more fun, and that's the clutch. The clutch is very important, especially when you drive manual, because that's how you manually, that's why the name is there, that's how you manually go into each gear. Automatics already have the gear selection already done within the transmission. Manuals, you can do it yourself, which is the fun of it. So first things first, you want to get your nifty keys and start up the engine. I always keep mine in first gear when parked, but I would keep it in neutral, especially when you're learning. And then also want to be in a parking lot most likely when you first start doing this, just because of the fact that you really don't want to be anywhere else practicing. You want to be in more of an open spot if possible. That's the best case scenario. So without really doing anything, basically the motion is you do gas, clutch in, and then you shift the gear, and then you go back into gas. So if I turn the car off and just show you it. So first things first, you have your clutch, brake, and gas. Mainly, while the car is stopped, I would advise you to first figure out how to do the actual fundamental steps of how to drive a stick. Because first thing that people do is always dump the clutch, and I did that when I was learning manual as well. And trust me, it may be fun, but it can ruin the car as well. It can hurt a lot of the transmission issues. So here you go. So you have clutch in, and you're in neutral. Go to first, and then basically the motion is you basically slowly go from the clutch, add a little gas, little gas, little gas, and then you're good. It's a very even, you're just kind of balancing as you go up. Typically, you can kind of ride the clutch and do it this way. This is kind of the cheating way of doing it, but when you're beginning, anything works. Pretty much you can put the clutch in, gas a little bit, get it up to about anywhere from 1 to 2,000 RPMs, and you can kind of slowly ride out the clutch a little bit, and that will typically get you starting. But as you advance and learn it a little bit more, it will be like a one motion as you go. Okay, so now once you've gotten the general motion of how to do it correctly, and you know that you kind of have to it's a balancing act almost. Downshifting will kind of come too as you go, but typically downshifting is just, let's say you're in third gear and you want to go down to second, you basically just push in the clutch and you can slowly go in and slowly come out. You don't want to jerk it because then you'll go forward pretty harshly. So you go from third, go into second, you want to brake, and then slowly come off. And that's how you typically would downshift. As you go more into advanced skills, you can gas, clutch in, blip it a little bit, and then go into second. That's what they call rev matching. But as far as fundamentals and taking off, let me just show you the general. So clutch in, start the engine. As you have all of that, you want to keep the clutch in, hold on to the brake, take the handbrake down, and in this situation we need to reverse, so we're going to go into the reverse and then slowly. Typically reverse is going to be the easiest gear to learn because it's also the lowest gear to learn. Now that you have that, go back to neutral, go into first, and then you're just gonna slowly come off. And just take easy baby steps and just learn it that way. So let me pull around again and show you one more time. So let's say your stops again and you're in neutral. So you're in neutral, you're on the brake, clutch in, first gear, and just slowly come off the gear. And going into second, third, fourth, whatever gear is above first is really simple to learn. It's just one motion. So if you want to go to second, you just go, clutch in, go to second, and release. Alright, for a better example, I'll just go around the block and I'll show you just how I generally drive. And this is a little bit more simplified, but this will be kind of just the easy motions. You can kind of just see where my feet are at on the pedals. So clutch in, engine, get into neutral, handbrake down, and I need to reverse. Seatbelt on. Speed bumps. Typically when parking, you kind of just leave it in neutral or leave it first, whatever you need to do. But typically neutral is good for rolling. And then when you're done, I leave it in neutral, handbrake, and then clutch in, and then turn the key off, and then you're good. Okay, so this is a little bonus clip. This is how I typically drive manual. Alright, thank you for watching.